Our guest today is a true force in the world of communications, a self-proclaimed grammar nerd, and a two-time PRSA Silver Anvil winner. With nearly 30 years of experience, McGavock Edwards has helped some of the biggest names in biotech, healthcare, manufacturing, and consumer products find the right message, right audience at the right time, and that's why she's here on Inbound. She is an accredited public relations pro, a trusted counselor in everything from crisis communications to brand storytelling, and a leader who brings people together to create meaningful impact. I could go on and on and on. She also happens to be a friend, a colleague, a former colleague, which makes today's conversation even that much more special. Please welcome to the sound of Inbound, McGavock Edwards. Hello.
Hello, friend. It's so good to be here. I'm excited.
It's so good to be here. We haven't worked together in, oh man, it's been a couple of years.
Like 15.
15 years? Okay, it feels like yesterday.
It does feel like yesterday.
And it was chaos.
It was chaotic.
And how's it going today?
Oh, it is nowhere near the chaos that it used to be.
I know. Same here.
I sleep a lot better these days.
What I'm so amazed at these days is that I have been running my own agency. You've been part of your agency for so much longer than what we did together. But It felt like when we were in it forever.
We were in it forever, and there was something special. Like, there was a lot of chaos and a lot of craziness, but the people that we worked with, I think, is why we feel like it was yesterday.
And we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
We're going to get to that. That's excellent. Okay. So I thought just to kind of get things warmed up, I would ask you just a fun question about what universe you would love to live on. You ready to go on this one?
Universe?
Yes, you'll see in a second. So if you could choose between two universes, which one would you live on? It's like a bracket kind of thing, game I'm playing with people.
Okay.
So the first is Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Okay, good. Star Wars. Star Wars or Marvel?
Star Wars.
Still Star Wars? Okay. Star Wars or Barbie?
Oh, Barbie.
Barbie. That's where women can be everything. I am a lawyer. I'm a doctor. I'm also the judge, the Supreme Court, the president.
And I look fantastic the entire time.
And I think that's important. We have to do that. All right, we're going to stick with that one. Okay. The reason I bring this one up is because these are franchises, but they're also brands. And we connect with them in interesting ways, and they stick with us. So part of what I hope our discussion will get to today is like what makes brands so magnetic. And I think that with these organizations that we just mentioned, from Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, and Barbie, they've done a lot that they first intended to do, but then there was a lot of unintention about how much community built around it. And I think the world went nuts when Barbie came out. Do you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree.
Did you love the movie?
I loved some of the movie. I got to be honest. Like, it was one of those kind of love to hate situations.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of good and then some that just irked me.
The part that surprised me the most was how much Ken was in it. I didn't realize it was going to, it felt like the Ken movie and then Barbie fixed it.
Yeah. Well, that's how the world works, right?
Yes, of course. I would love that if that were the case. First off, you have a wonderful name, and I think a lot of people are interested in what the history of that is, but I wanted to know where you are originally. Where are you from originally?
So, North Carolinian, born and bred. I grew up in kind of two areas. Kinston, North Carolina, both in Eastern North Carolina. So born in Kinston, raised there most of my childhood, and then my parents divorced, and my mother and I moved to Wilmington, so moved to the coast. So all east of 95, and it definitely made me who I am.
It's a different part of the state, which is a different part of the world to some of us. I think it feels a lot more rural out there.
Yeah.
So where does the name McGavock come from then?
So my mother's family is a huge fans of history and family history, and there's a long, long history. My great grandmother's maiden name was McGavock, and that's where it came from. My mother's name is Ayers. Her mother's name, maiden name was McGavock, and we have in that family a Haynes, a Winder. There's two McGavocks. There's two Ayerses in the extended family. There's two McGavocks. We are like second cousins. So we don't like, it's like at a wedding or a funeral, once every couple of years, we'll see each other. But everybody has shortened nicknames, that sort of thing. So it works. But
yeah, we call you Mac.
Yes. You guys call me Mac.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just her family believed in family names and like carrying on the family legacy. And so it's cool.
But the thing about it for me is it is so unique, and it's not like John and Susan and this kind of stuff. So it does kind of, I would say, it opens up conversations for you. But do you feel like you're carrying something more than yourself, both the heritage and wanting to put more meaning behind this name when people meet you? So it already makes you feel kind of special?
It does. I think back to my childhood and I hated it, right? When you're a kid, you want to be like everybody else.
Absolutely.
And the first day of school, let me back up. My maiden name was Elizabeth McGavock Henderson. So not only did I have a weird name, but it wasn't my first name. Every day, the first day of school, it drove me crazy because the teacher gets up there to do roll call, right? And it's Jenny so-and-so here, and Tommy so-and-so here, and Elizabeth Henderson. And I'd have to raise my hand and I'd say, I'm here, but I go by McGavock. What? Huh? Say that again? How do you spell that? I don't know if I can say that. They didn't think about the fact that they were crushing me in the middle of that. So anyway, then I had to spell it, etc. So I hated it as a kid because you want to be like everybody else. But I grew into it. And now it's fun to talk about the history and explain that, it's a generational thing. And I have this family that I didn't know, but that has really cool stories.
And you're connected to it.
And I'm connected to it.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love having a different name now.
I do want to talk about storytelling when it comes to brands and how that makes brands stick too. So we'll get back to that point as well.
Okay.
Now you are like, you're the one in charge with your
They
current.
say so. Yeah.
Yes, they say so. You had to get started in some place. So for those out there that are wondering, you've obviously done extremely, really well in your career. And now you get to run your own organization. Where'd you get started?
I started in a very small, I was actually number 2 hired PR agency in Wilmington. I got really lucky. When you go to UNCW, which is where I ended up graduating from, everybody wants to stay at the beach. Everybody wants a job in Wilmington, right? I was the only person in communications in my graduating class that actually got a job in our industries. And I worked for this dynamic woman who had been on Capitol Hill and worked for Edelman and Ketchum and had gotten married and decided to move to a small town. So I started there. And I was there for a couple of years, and the agency grew, and then the agency got small, and it changed, and then it was time to do something else. And I headed to Raleigh, where I really, really got started in my career. I spent 10 years at Epley Associates, which is how I met you, and got to work with Joe Epley, who had been in my textbooks, Mike Herman, who had worked in crazy crisis experiences, and lots and lots and lots of other people. And that's where I cut my teeth and learned probably the most, is that 10 years under their mentorship.
And I'm guessing that you thought there was kind of a steady Eddie with the business for a while, and then I came along.
And you blew everything up.
I blew a lot of things. I mean, a lot of people blew it up, but we really did shake it up together.
Yes, I shouldn't say you blew it up. You shook it up. And it was great. It was great because we were in an organization. At Epley, we were in an organization that was pure public relations, very traditional, really, really, really smart people, but at this inflection point in our industry where it needed to be shaken up. And we had to be thinking about digital and social and creative and not just words. So it was a wild ride. And we talked about chaos earlier, but it was also fun. I mean, working with you and Alex and the genius that is Joseph Gatens, who knows how to take both sides of those.
Shout out to Joseph Gatens.
Yes.
I call him the Gate. I also call him Josefio. I also call him Jose. I have given him a lot of names. He's our Johnny Joseph on the team. Yeah, he is extremely, extremely talented. But so was the team. And that to me was one of the reasons why I did feel like it was a heartbreak when we did kind of have to split out, because that team was so strong. And to this day, I'm still connected to all those folks in some given way. And that's so important to me, to build a team around you that can enable all this interesting creative that we want to do. Yeah. I would say that during the Cativo days that I've realized more now than ever is that the reason we didn't have staying power is because a lot of what we did was like firecracker work. We did these really special projects that just had a very short lifespan.
Yeah.
And these days, I'm hoping that when we work with our organizations, that it does have longer term value. We're thinking more about the commercial objectives. It's not just the spray and pray advertising. And I'm guessing that's what you're doing more these days as well, because you've been with, it's Eckel & Vaughn, right?
Yep.
For a decade. And so would you agree that we kind of worked on things that felt very short lived? I don't know if maybe more of the things that you worked on had more of a long tail to it, but the stuff that I worked on was like quick, in, out, gone.
Yeah, I think that's true. Because of the traditional PR background, it's not a flashy definition, but I grew up in PR. And the definition back then of PR was building mutually beneficial relationships between an organization and its publics. That's when I took my APR, that's the definition I wrote down. That was great. And I think that's kind of what's new again, is people are realizing that the flash in the pan and the excitement and breaking through all the clutter is fun, but you've got to find a combination of the two for a brand to be successful. But I was so thankful back then to have the energy of the creative team that you and Alex and others brought, because it elevated our work and pushed us to not just think about the tried and true, but to try new things. And so I think you're right. I think that's why we didn't have staying power, is all the new things that were happening wasn't always shepherded by someone in senior leadership who could kind of find and appreciate the combination of those two.
Or find its purpose to connect to a commercial objective.
Yeah.
And that's where I try to be a lot more focused these days, because you do need outbound, inbound marketing kind of working together. You always do. Because we love doing brand. I mean, like that's part of the fun that we have every day, but it can't be built up without having a real story behind it, real thought leadership behind it, real personality behind it. For me, it's now so much more nowadays to try to find those opportunities to build a story that can really last. In building up organizations that share the same values that we have as well. So it's not, again, just about the flash in the pan kind of quick hit kind of stuff. It's trying to find something that is, to my mind, much more transparent about the people there. Like, what does it feel like to work with them? What does it sound like to work with them? How do I trust those people over the long period of time? So I want to build story. I want to build more of a, I guess you guys call it might be reputation building. And so we do that in the marketing side as well. I'm very excited about some of the conversations we'll have about that too. Okay. You interact with a lot of brands, of course, all the time. We all do. What's a brand that you love right now?
Oh, there's so many that I love. So I'm not going to say right now. I'm going to say I have loved this brand for a really long time.
Okay.
And I don't work with them.
Okay.
But I did. And it's probably one you love. But I'm not even a customer of theirs. And that's John Deere.
John Deere. Okay, I do love John Deere. Let's talk about John Deere from this standpoint of knowing it from just the surface to knowing it as a business on the inside, because you work with them directly, and so did I.
Yeah.
And that was very special. I feel very fortunate that I ever got to do anything with those guys.
I know. I think about it often. I learned so much, but from the people there.
Yeah. So why do we love John Deere?
But why do I love John Deere? I love John Deere. I trust John Deere. And I think it's because I can't do the math, but it's like since the late 1800s, right? Mm-hmm. They've been around and they've lasted. And they are all the things that I think create those long-lasting relationships with their customers. They start with service, not sales. They know their audiences. They invest in knowing who they're trying to reach, and then create authentic community amongst those audiences. And they build really good products. I mean, they do deliver on what they say they're going to do, but it is truly an authentic brand. And there's really good stewards of that brand. I mean, to be that old of a brand and the people still that are working there today are really good shepherds of what was started so long ago.
The community element of it, you can't just do that. You can't force it. It has to just kind of come to the table. And you're using the term stewards. I use the word evangelists, but there is this point where you don't have to sell a deer. You don't. It kind of sells itself because of the reputation of it. And you said the quality. It has to deliver at the end of the day. Yeah. But what I felt, and with the campaign that actually worked on together, was called Live the Land, because we felt like there were folks out there that live inside the John Deere brand every day, if they realize it or not. So they wake up in the morning, it's the first thing they have to go check on. They got to make sure it's working, and it has to just work. It just is kind of in the background, enabling them all the time. So it's like their best partner. And they always have to rely on it. So it's like you don't want to have to think about that. You need a really, really good partner on the field. So when I did get a chance to speak to people and get a chance to actually interact with the marketing of it all, it felt like we didn't have to do a lot of push. It was just kind of like set it out there and then it'll be gobbled up.
They attracted
for sure. And one of the first pieces I built for them, or like interactive pieces I made for them, was called How to Buy a Tractor, which wasn't how to sell a tractor. You think about it in this way, it was like one of the early... This is really dating me. Back
well, haven't we already done that?
Back in the 1920s. But truly, I was doing a piece for their website where I was building out one of their first kind of educational modules, and they hadn't done anything like that before. Everything else was just like, we have a web page and we have advertising, but we really didn't give any kind of selection process to folks, and we didn't educate people on which particular product to select. So this was more of an educational piece. And that to me is inbound marketing too.
It absolutely is.
It absolutely is.
Bring something to somebody that's valuable and helpful and not just shouting about who you are.
Okay, so give me, on the opposite side of things, give me a brand that has either failed you or that you just love to hate right now.
first of all, just generally, anyone that's just any brand that's just a flash in the pan that just does something to make noise drives me crazy. It's just because what we've already been talking about, like
Right.
authenticity matters to me. I want to see you. I mean, I love a good TikTok. I love a good collaboration. I'm all for like getting me to pay attention.
Yeah.
But if that's all you got, I don't have time for you. A hot take, I'd love to hate Taylor Swift.
Wow. Okay, that's going to be controversial, right?
It's going to be super controversial. My whole team, if they listen to this, they're going to be like, "What?"
What?
I mean, she is amazing. She is fantastic. She's an amazing songwriter. She is smart, but I kind of love to hate just all the hoopla around it. I do think, hear me out, she has depth.
Yeah.
Where I just said flash in the pan. I'm not saying that's who she is, but I just kind of love to hate her. It just drives me crazy. The amount of time we spend on Slack
Talking about her?
about Taylor Swift.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a couple of takes on my side too. So one of the reasons that I'm against pop music is because of its formula. And when you understand the formula and you can work it, you could become very, very successful.
Yeah.
So if you're a really good songwriter and a really good composer and you understand how to arrange music and kind of understand the feel and you get that equation down, Ed Sheeran has done it and so many others have done it over the years, and Taylor Swift has obviously done this. They are just now in formula. If you were to train AI on all that music, it can almost predict what the next album will sound like. To me, that's like pattern building, and it's like so it doesn't feel very different.
Yeah.
And I'm going to drop an artist that I absolutely love, but the music world loves him too, and his name is Jacob Collier. Jacob, if you ever listening to this, I am massive fan, but he is the opposite of any formula. He is more of a master of the craft of music and embraces all the genre. And that to me is so much more about embracing what music can do to create a feel and create a reaction. The Taylor does get that too. It's just, it is this continuing story. And as you actually listen to her, and I think this is the funny part, and why I do also respect the heck out of what she does right now, is she puts all this hidden meaning and messages into everything she does.
Everything. The Easter eggs are crazy.
The Easter eggs are so funny. And so that's her thinking about not today, but tomorrow or even years from now. And that's amazing that she's thinking about the fans and the experiential side of it.
Yeah.
Now, the part that I don't like, again, the formulation on the music, that it has this kind of, it has to fit that formula and also fit radio play. But she has really prescribed to all the other channels of marketing, or she's allowed these organizations just to take over. Well, when Barbie did it, it was hysterical because of all these mashups and all these other organizations that were taking on Barbie. I felt like I never thought there would all be these crossovers. So it was kind of fun to interact with that way. But with Taylor, it just feels forced.
It's too much.
And that's maybe
It's
why
too
you
much.
don't like it, because it's just forced.
And that's it. I think it's forced. And again, she's an amazing songwriter. She's got a lot of talent, and she's a good brander. I mean, she has branded herself, or whoever is helping her. Kudos to her for the talent that she has. But
I will also,
it just irks me.
Yeah, I was at a family event in California this past week, and one of our family friends was there, best friends were there, and she used to work for I won't drop any names. I'm just gonna put the story out there quick. But she worked for a very, very large sneaker brand. They relied on a celebrity endorsing them. And then during the pandemic, went great. Then after the pandemic, she stopped doing it, and then sales tanked. And I think that's kind of like, well, were you really connected to the community the way you should have been? Are your products really connecting the way they are? Are they made well? Or was this all hinging on an artist saying something?
Yeah.
And if that artist goes astray or does something whack-a-mole, does that pull your brand down? Yeah, you're making the face.
Reputation management, man.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, when you're working with the organizations that you have to serve and partner with, how do you try to come up with a way that says there's a bigger purpose here, and we need to make sure we're not hinging on one individual and their brand? It's more of the business brand that we're really trying to amplify.
I think you have to be cognizant of so much. I mean, we spend a lot of time getting to know the brand. Yes, every company has a list of its core values. But when we're planning communications, when we're planning marketing, reputation management, we have to subscribe to that. And we're checking to make sure, are you saying and doing actually what you say? Are you doing what you're saying you're doing? Do you truly believe in this? And if so, then there's authenticity there. And that is the connection point we can find with the audiences.
Yeah.
So truly paying attention to that. And then, of course, whatever product you're trying to sell or service you're trying to sell, is it quality? Is it good? How can we connect to that? And then finding the audiences that actually need it and want it Like it's so easy to just throw a marketing campaign, or it has been in the past, right? So easy to just throw a marketing campaign and kind of spray and pray. We talk about spray and pray media relations, right? Put a
Yeah.
news release out. Everybody's going to cover it. No, 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 no. It's not the world we live in. Like
Yeah.
you've got to pay attention to the audiences, what they need, what they want, and find a way to find the connection between them and attract them to you.
You've now worked with, I can't even imagine. How many companies do you think you've worked with within the last 10 years? Could you even guesstimate? You're talking about hundreds?
Sure. Yeah.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming some of those crisscross in their own industry. Some of those organizations work within the same industries
Within
and
the
such.
same industry. Yeah.
How do you help those groups set themselves apart?
So we're really careful about not working with any organizations that will have any conflict of interest, right? Because we are in reputation management, sometimes issues in crisis management. And so we typically will not work on two brands that are competitors. But it's important in the type of work that we're doing and building a trust with the customer or with the client. But every company is different. So I mean, it's kind of a boring answer, but it goes back to, okay, you might be in the same industry, but the people who work there, the reason for being, the organization's being, is going to be different. And so finding a way to make sure that that is what's communicated and that sets an organization apart.
So how do you find what's different?
You ask a lot of questions.
Ask a lot of questions.
You ask a lot of questions. You know,
Do you find
clients will sometimes,
Yeah.
you talk for a while, you finally get proposal, contract, whatever, and then we're like, okay, this is our timeline for starting. We're not going to produce something tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to ask you a lot of questions. We're not just going to talk to you. We're going to talk to multiple people in your organization. We're going to talk to your customers. We're going to talk to your partners. We're going to spend time, and you trust us. Like you've got to do that, or you're just wasting your money.
I will find though, sometimes I'm guessing you have to do this too. You have to figure out the differentiation. They're not going to tell you.
No.
Yeah.
No. You absolutely have
Do they accept
to.
it?
I think so. I
Yeah.
mean, sometimes no, right? Sometimes people know exactly, they come to you thinking they know what they need, and they definitely know what they want. Why are you hiring outside counsel if you're not going to take it? Yes, you know your organization, you know what you want to accomplish. Let us come in and help you figure out how to do it. There's so many ways to do it, right? And so you got to listen, you got to trust us a little bit and trust the reason you hired us. And most do, right? Sometimes you get pushed back and you work through it.
Is there a line anymore between communications and marketing, or do you see it as one larger initiative?
I think the best is a combination. You know, when we work with an organization that has a completely separate marketing department and we only talk to the CCO or the public relations director, we're not going to give them the best counsel. They're not going to get the best results. And on the flip side, the same thing. If the marketing team is off doing their own thing and not spending time with people who are thinking about long-term reputation, not just selling product, and people who are thinking about the issues that may come up in the industry that you're in and kind of that wider picture, then yeah, they'll sell some things, but they won't build the long-lasting relationships and advocates that they want with their customers. So great, you know, your sales spike for a little bit, but then it dies after the spokesperson in COVID.
Exactly,
You know, right?
exactly.
Like it's just, it goes away. So, I mean, the best situation is when, for me and for our team, is when we have time with the C-suite. So we really, truly understand the strategy of the business, not just sales.
Yep.
And when we get to spend time, not just once a year, but on a regular basis, talking to the marketing team or the agency, talking to the advertising, whatever their kind of combination of marketing and communications, and also delivery. I mean, delivery matters too, like being able to talk to the people who are actually providing the service or delivering the product.
It's like, well, we do think the same. So I appreciate exactly everything you just shared, and I would have said it exactly the same way. We consider this entire life cycle chain all connected to brand. So the first touch point, wherever that might be, all the way through to being a customer and then trying to re-engage that organization to stay and renew and delight them and then keep them on board.
Yep.
And I use this little symbol. I've been drawing this infinity symbol for years. We have it on our website, but it is intended to say that brand is going to connect the brand first to marketing, into sales, into operations, and then hopefully renew that relationship and keep it going. When we were working together at Cativo years ago, we didn't have a name for what inbound is, but nowadays saying this right brand, like right time, right place, right audience, and right content, is all very, very important to kind of triangulate around personalizing that marketing to get people to trust us and say that we know you. We personalize our communications and our marketing for you, and that's why you should come and check us out, because we can understand you. And so everything you just mentioned is really about trying to build, of course, trust, try to create a sustainable brand, and try to leverage inbound marketing as part of all that. So when I say inbound marketing, it's kind of a combination of marketing and communications.
Absolutely.
Yeah. When we come back, we're going to talk about trends in the industry and get into some things maybe around the term AI. We all love that term. So I'd love to get Mac's take on that. Up for it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Take a quick break. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back from our break, and I thought we would talk about some of the trends and things that are, you said it during the break, what's old is new. So my next question is there anything coming back in the world of marketing? And I'd love to get your take on this and anything that you think that is like, of course it's coming back. It should have always come back. But go ahead. What do you think is coming back around?
I do. I think what's old is new again. When we started in this business, right? No email. Well, I'm a little older than you. I had no email. There was no internet.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing. And so everything marketing, communications related, reputation, brand building, all of the things had to be super tangible, truly created a connection.
I think I know where you're going with this.
They were tapping into your hand, your what you could feel, what you could see, what you could smell, what you could experience as a human.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then email, then the internet, then social media, then now AI. It's all great. I mean, digital communications runs the world. We need it. And thank God we have the data that it provides us, because we didn't have really strong ROI data back then, especially in like the softer reputation management and kind of communications that I have always worked in. But digital has become not personal anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking about authenticity and connections and brands building relationships with their customers. And I think what's coming back is anything that creates an actual human connection. So it may be crazy to think, but even the tangible things, like one of our clients is doing a direct mail piece, which sounds crazy, but it's to a very small niche audience. It's not like what you get during political season, right? It's a package. It is something, but it is something that is going to delight the people who get it. Mm-hmm. They're going to see it. They're going to smell something. They're going to experience the brand in person instead of just watching something happen. And so that's just one small example. But I do think those things that go back to the interpersonal, go back to creating connection and community is what's happening. It's what inbound marketing is about, right? It's what PR traditionally was about, is building those relationships. So
my brother-in-law brought this up on one of my previous podcast episodes. He loves Back to the Future too. You know, when you go 30 years into the future and you're seeing 2015 in their world, and they didn't have smartphones. They had a lot of other things. It still felt tangible. I think that's the interesting thing about what technology can and cannot do. I was dreaming of a world too, where back in the 80s when I watched that movie, oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to do a video with somebody across the world. I'll get to see them in real time. That seemed like a mind-blowing concept in general. So when it did finally happen, it felt like, oh my God, this is nuts. However, during the pandemic, when we had to rely on it, it got very tiring very fast. Yeah. And so you're here today. She's here today. She's actually physically here. And I think there are some things that I'm with you that I feel like old is new. Getting back together with people is still feeling so much more needed today than it was in the past. Before it was like kind of novel. Now I feel like it's necessary.
I believe we were built for connection and community. The human spirit needs that.
Yeah.
And so when you're selling a product or a service and you're trying to connect, and that's what you've got to do, is create this authenticity and connect the dots for people and engage them emotionally, psychologically, physically.
Yeah, so I'm agreeing with you that it has to feel more tangible. I think for a while the digital channels were effective because they were new and a lot of bloggers were out there. And I think now, of course, people are pushing on many, many channels, including LinkedIn, that video should be used. I think that's trying to help with the human-to-human connection, like seeing the people again.
Yeah.
So do you feel like it's not replacing it, but do you feel like the video as a channel is effective?
For sure.
For sure?
Yeah.
More so than it is with social, like general posting on social media, general posting in a blog post, general like PR?
I do, because it creates, at least starts to create two-way communication. And I know, yes, somebody can post, somebody can comment on a post, but I think people connecting with other people and not just written word is more effective.
I like the fact that the video shows more of the flaws.
Yeah.
Especially
it's
when
authentic.
it's more
right?
authentic. It's
I
more
mean, it
authentic.
is. I'm sure I'm going to watch this at some point and I'm going to be embarrassed by
No.
something I said or how I, used my hands or something, but it's real. So
It's
you like it or not.
So, yes, exactly. And that's it for me too. I think that it doesn't have to be perfect. The production quality, of course, we want it to be professional, but at the end of the day, I do want it to feel, like you just said 1,000 times, it has to feel authentic.
We worked on some beautiful campaigns together that I'm super, super proud of. And I wouldn't have changed those for the world. It's also fun to have the mistakes and to laugh a little and see people be real or a brand be real. That's what's going to keep me paying attention to you.
Exactly.
Is
Exactly.
you not being perfect, because none of us is.
So going to switch over to the trends. So is there anything else that you think trend-wise these days that you're feeling like, okay, this is a good thing? And of course it brings up AI.
AI, I'm not sure if it's a good thing that's happening. I will say, right? I think we all have a lot of questions. There's a lot of bigger questions beyond our industry about AI. There's a lot of good things that are happening with it.
Yeah.
But it's more about force multiplying what we can do as humans, not necessarily, I don't know. I don't know what I don't know yet. And I think that's scary to me about some of the things that AI will bring.
I'm wondering if you're finding if it's replacing anything that you're now wondering, oh my gosh, it's now really taking over in some of the areas in which we work.
I think AI is going to be able to write copy and write social posts.
Yeah.
But going back to the authenticity, at least right now, it's still too young. We need people.
Yeah.
I need people's brains and critical thinking that I don't think machines can do yet.
Yeah.
And they don't have heart and they don't have all of the aspects of the human that I think plays into really good work in our industry.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've been feeling too. It doesn't have the heart. It doesn't have the personality that I think that the nuance that humans can bring to the story. And as I mentioned earlier, it's following a pattern. It doesn't pivot. It's the word I've been using too. So I feel like what we do is we introduce spontaneity and we introduce story and personality that AI cannot do. But there are some things that it is doing that I'm very interested in wondering how you guys might be leveraging it today. Are you guys leveraging AI?
We are leveraging AI.
Yeah.
It's more about let the machines do the dumb stuff kind of attitude,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
where can we be a little more efficient? Where can our teams have more time to think and plan
Yeah.
and let the machines take the notes and do the stuff that no 20-year-old or 25-year-old really wants to do or 50-year-old, right?
Yeah.
Like that. So right now we are playing with it. It's and testing it out, trying things, but we have a very strong opinion about the humans in the room are the ones who are going to provide the counsel that we have to provide to the client. And a lot of our work is, confidentiality makes me nervous. And so we're also very conscious about what we're going to use AI for, because we're dealing with a lot of sensitive issues when it comes to issues management
Exactly.
and crisis and all of that. And I don't necessarily believe that everything's just as tightened up and locked down as some say it is.
We use AI for research.
Yeah.
And we also use it to double check ourselves on information we're pulling together to make sure it's like crafted correctly, refined right. Sometimes we try to get the tone right. And we're just putting in a lot of what it's called. It's very great at this. It's taking unstructured data and it's structuring it. So a lot of notes, as you mentioned earlier with meetings and stuff. But when we're crafting a strategy, we're like, did we hear that right? Did we grab everything that we needed? And it does actually pull out everything. It doesn't filter it down. It's pulling everything into the notes. So it's like, with the human element to it, it is giving us that extra edge. We're figuring out what to focus on. We're not letting AI just say, hey, everything's important. We're saying like maybe one thing is important. As far as like what you're thinking about with AI going next though, are there things that you're hearing about, reading about that you're just like, oh wow, that could really have an impact on the world of PR and communications? Like for example, even right now while I'm speaking, there are AI tools that can change the words coming out of my mouth. And how do you protect against that?
That is what is probably the most alarming.
Yeah.
Today I wish I could say, yes, I've got the answer for that. But that is one of the most alarming things about AI.
Yeah.
We already pre-AI deal with clients who are dealing with misinformation and disinformation all the time. And fighting that is hard, especially because social media and because things get spread so quickly and it's not right. And you have to like reel everyone in and let's sit down, let's understand whatever the situation is and make sure you're providing real, factual, credible information. We're thinking about how you manage and maintain and build a relationship or a reputation when it comes to AI. That's one of the things that keeps me up at night, for sure.
And I'm wondering what we could all be doing to, because we brought it up a bunch, how to make the brands that we're trying to represent authentic and prove verifiably that it is them. That to me is getting harder as well.
It is. What's super interesting, kind of in the same realm, but good about AI, that at least what I'm seeing, at least AI search, right, is changing search so much right now. And it is right now is putting preference on thought leadership, third-party credibility, which excites me because that's exactly the world that I live in. And you too, right? I mean, that's what inbound marketing can be, has in it as well, is this third-party credibility and this content that is true thought leadership information that doesn't just sell a product, but provides the customer with something they need. So AI search, I'm really I'm up on right now, and I'm excited about that.
I am too. And the thing about it for me is, and I don't know if it's actually a good or a bad thing, I feel like when I'm using AI search, it's giving me more relevant information than what's getting served up to me when I'm doing a standard Bing or Google search. Not that I ever use Bing. But
is Bing still around?
Is Bing still around?
I don't.
Sorry, Bing.
Sorry.
Hashtag Microsoft not a sponsor. But there are some things that are being revealed now when you think about the worlds that we see or had been knowing through Google search. We have always looked at the internet. It's like AOL to a certain extent. We've only seen the internet through Google. We've never really seen the open web, and we're being served up English-speaking websites. So if I'm searching for the best, porcelain maker in the world, it's going to first bring up all of the organizations that are here in the States. It's not going to give me something that's in Italy or whatever. It's because it's not in English. And then you think about all the other languages of the world and other websites that are built. So really, it's been a heavy, heavy filter on everything we've been searching for. So I feel like with AI, it's doing a deeper understanding of what we're looking for and trying to find something more relevant. I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm also scared about it's thinking it's giving you the most relevant information and accurate information, but you also have to realize it's learning from something.
Right.
And if it's learning from a bad source, it's going to give you bad information.
Right.
So our world right now has been more about how do we build websites and build media and all the other channels that we're going to be operating in so that when AI does find it, it does have all the information it needs to answer the question, which is changing the nature of what used to be kind of a brochure web world into a very experiential web world. And then we're now like kind of moving into a Wikipedia web world.
Yeah.
Like the websites are becoming so much more long formatted. Are you finding the same thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Content driven.
So websites that used to be kind of like the pages were not totally long, but I mean, they were kind of like, okay, some highlights, kind of talking to the human.
Big, beautiful pictures.
Exactly.
5 to 6 bullets.
Yes. Now, what is it now?
Yeah. Now, I think you still need the visuals, but there's a lot more depth to the content.
Yes.
It's needed.
Which you're kind of like wondering, wasn't it always needed?
It was always needed.
Yes.
It's just not what Google wanted to serve up.
So what I've learned now is when you're building a website, and I'll put this out to everybody who's listening, when you're building a website, assume that the person who's visiting the site is a savvy buyer. These are not just the general world anymore of like the open world and everybody's just coming to see your website. That is not the case. These are the folks that actually want to find you. And so you can't treat those people as if they don't know you already. You got to speak to them as if they are fully understanding, fully your network, fully like savvy as far as the vernacular and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Are you following that kind of strategy?
Absolutely.
You are?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
And it has been shifting in the last couple of years. I mean, even sooner than that, like 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't specifically build a whole lot of websites. We help counsel on content for websites, but I go back to, for me, what's old is new again. Like content and thought leadership and third-party credibility is the classes. Like that's what I learned in classes in college and PR. Yeah. It's what I learned from Mike Herman and Joseph Gatens when I was 4 years into this business. So 30 years into this business, it feels like, well, no shit. And I don't mean to be crass. in that way. But
Of course
that's
it's
what I'm
needed.
finding. But
Yeah.
yes, of course it's needed. And
Yeah.
of course people are smart. I mean, we do have savvy consumers now that we didn't back then, right?
Yeah.
But they know a lot more. They can absolutely spot in authenticity in a heartbeat, right? Like the influencer marketing craze.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, I got to add this then. And then I'll have two more questions. I like the analogy of buying a car because if you went back to the 70s and 80s or 60s, before all that, you would go in and you would get razzle dazzled by the sales team. And when you go into a showroom now, it's like they don't even care you're there. They don't
even walk up to you. Like you had to hide from them back then.
that.
Yes.
And we
Like,
recently
hello.
we recently got a car and we were looking at one brand, Audi, and they didn't even walk up to us. Sorry, you lost out. We got a Volvo. It is insane that you walk into a showroom floor and you are at that moment a qualified buyer just because you're there. So they should take a beat and bring somebody over to you, but nobody walks up. So my point was, when I think their assumption comes back to inbound marketing, the people that are walking onto the floor already know everything. And it's really incredible that sales folks don't know it anymore. Like it's such a reverse in role. Like I get into the car and I know so much more about this vehicle than the person that's supposed to sell me on it.
Yeah.
And that's like a failure. I think that they have to keep up. It's like,
They
yes,
should be keeping up.
they should be keeping up.
They have the opportunity that you are right there in person with them and you know it. So make you like them
Exactly.
and want to buy from them. Like
Exactly.
that's what it's about.
It's
right?
supposed to be the
You
closing.
know all the things. You don't need the sales part of it is the relation. I feel like I'm saying relationships and connections a lot,
Yeah.
but that's what is going to likely take you over. They probably would have sold you at Audi had somebody come to you
Yeah.
and like just made a connection with you and made sure you knew all the things. And if you did, all right,
Yeah. So
here are the keys.
my definition of marketing is how fast can I get people that are qualified to the conversation?
Yeah.
And then sales are supposed to bring it to the
Right.
bring it to
They're
the finish
supposed
line.
to bring it to the finish
Yeah,
line.
but this was a very strange interaction, and I kind of look back at it now when I'm talking to you, and I'm just like, wow, none of the salespeople we interfaced with, even at unfortunately Volvo too, really knew about the car that they were selling. Isn't that incredible? Like you would think that they would really understand it.
That is their job.
Yeah.
They should know it all.
They have some reputation management they need to work on with Max. So give
Yeah.
them a call.
Give me a call. envgroup.com.
dmbgroup.com. Okay, two more questions.
Okay.
What's exciting you today in this industry or as a professional in communications?
There's so much that excites me.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, personally, it's sort of our industry, but it's the position that I happen to be in. So I've been managing partner just under a year for now. And it's a very different world because I'm doing a little bit of client service, but I'm not doing a whole lot of client service. I'm doing some strategy with a few clients, but I'm spending a whole lot of time thinking about things like AI, thinking about things that help run the business also, which we don't want to talk about right now. It's boring. But also spending a lot of more and more time really truly understanding our team and the people and helping develop them. And I have always gotten a kick out of really getting to know someone and what drives them and help them succeed. And so that's what I wake up every day really excited about from a business perspective.
Hey, Max team, she loves you and she wants to help you. She wants to work with you. She wants to develop you. She wants to make you a special snowflake, very special snowflake. But it's true. I mean, like it is about who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
And you're most excited about them.
I am most excited about them and the clients too that we work with. I had a client meeting earlier this week and it wasn't a formal meeting, right? We were having drinks. We were just kind of chatting about some things. And I left so energized and so excited just because of that person. Like she's super smart. She's thinking about crazy things that are 10 years down the road. And I get to be a part of the journey and like be a thought partner. And that excites me tremendously. So people excite me.
I love that. All right. Last question. For all those that are trying to enter our industry, what sort of advice would you give for folks that are interested in getting into PR and communications and marketing?
Well, if you're like entering the market right now, I'm really sorry. It's a really bad time. Not bad time, but the world is making our industry difficult to start off in right now. So I'm really sorry, but keep at it. Be curious. Mm-hmm. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Like ask everybody as many questions as you can and be open to learning. I'm 52. I still learn something every week. Mm-hmm. And that's what's so cool about our industry, I think, is that it's constantly changing. So be super curious, ask questions, be always open to learn. You will never know everything, and be okay with that.
Yeah.
And seek knowledge and wisdom from everything and everyone around you. Like, just soak it up. I've learned that, at least that's how I've tried to progress in my career. And I think it's been super successful in that, is that no matter who you are, I don't care if you're 10 years, 20 years younger than me or 30 years older than me. Every single person in our industry has something to teach me. And so I'd encourage them to always be open and always be learning and just be curious.
I think this is a great time to be curious because the tools are there.
Yeah.
We didn't have the tools back when we were starting out, and it would never have given us as much insight into industry or organizations or even people. Like, we had to do it kind of blind or even double blind. So we're just like shoving stuff off into the universe, hoping that people will write back to us. Like, how many times I applied at Pixar? Probably 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were times where it's just like, I think about the tools that are here today, and I'm excited for folks that are entering the industry because they are so well enabled. So I'm with you. Be curious, try it all.
Yeah.
And put it out there. Don't just like hold it to yourself.
Out there,
Yeah.
for sure. Generally, trying to understand humans, people, is going to teach you a lot. And if you're actively looking for a job, don't just apply. Find those people. Ask for 30 minutes. You want an informational interview? You've got me. Like, I will make it happen. I bet you're the same way. Like, we love our industry so much, and there's a lot of professionals who love our industry that just want even more and more talent into it. And so
I agree.
I might not be hiring today, but make sure I know who you are.
Well, you said something that people should try and experiment, and you have a personal brand. We all do. And if you're going to get into marketing and branding and communications, you should be practicing on yourself. You have a brand in yourself that you have to represent. So if you're totally quiet and don't have a website and don't have a personalized email in it, you're all at gmail.com. Trust me, I've gotten hundreds of emails from people applying to jobs here, and they're all at gmail.com. Nobody can just go out and buy a domain. Sorry, is that a hint? Building a personal website. There are so many organizations out there that provide a $5 website. Just put a simple bio out there. Have an active social media that isn't totally shenanigans, that is trying to practice the craft. Just get it out there. Or, talk to your family and friends and help them. Because for me, it's like, show me. It's the catch-22. You want me to trust you, but just like with inbound marketing, I need to see how you think. So show me that you know what you're doing. Don't just send me a resume with no cover letter.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Do you remember, last thing, do you remember somebody that did apply at Gativo? Her name was Angela, and she sent us a box after her interview. And in the box was like a thank you, and it had a halo and it had a pitchfork.
I forgot all about that.
Do you remember this?
Yes.
And it was like this package thing. We're like, what is this box? And we open it up, and it was like, I want to say thank you. And it was like the devil and the angel, and it was the whole like coming together of like business and creative. And we hired her. She was amazing.
What was I talking about? Direct mail earlier? That's the kind of thing
know,
I'm talking
it's
about.
so
It made an
experiential.
impression,
Totally
right?
made an impression. That was the Kinston
Yeah.
coming out right there. It made an impression. No. It was fantastic, and that is the kind of stuff that leaves a good impression on us, and that makes us want to recall it and bring them into the teams and stuff like that we work on. Yeah, I'd like to thank Mac for joining us today here on the Sound of Inbound. If you would like to find Mac online, you'll find her at envgroup.com, and I'm sure you're also pretty active on LinkedIn. So McGavock Edwards on LinkedIn. McGavock, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been great having you here on the Sound of Inbound.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
It's a blast.
For all of those that you're listening, hope you'll join us on our next episode. Check it out on soundofinbound.com. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it. Bye.